Welcome back to Digi Bros. I'm playing Fire Emblem. I hope you guys enjoy watching the tactics.
The tactics, it's so tactical.
Very tactical. This might be the most mundane game we've ever played. Or it could be rad, I don't know.
We had a moment when Victor was like, what if we played this game? And he said, it won't be as boring as Phantasy Star Online. And I was like, yes, it will. It will be more boring because it's in 2 dimensions and it's a grid. It's people watching you move pieces around a grid and like sit here making, like trying to figure out what you want to do and just like positioning people. Like,
yeah.
It's not easy to get like a sense of progression. I mean, I guess the more enemies are off the board, the more progress you've made. But like, you know, why are you not attacking with anyone, by the way?
I am using a more defensive strategy here. Because if I attack with them, they'll get hurt. And then the other guys will come and hurt me more because I already used my healer. And so I don't want them to get more hurt on this turn. So I'll let this guy attack whoever he wants, and they probably won't die. And then these guys can only go so far to attack these guys on the front line. And so no one will get hurt too bad.
Well, I can't remember whether I've used this kind of tactic before or not, but Victor's played a lot more Fire Emblem than I have.
I don't know if these are good tactics. These are just my tactics. I've never, ever watched anyone else play Fire Emblem. Don't have a great frame of reference on like how other people might play.
Like I said, my buddy Hippo, like, you know, was telling me, when he was telling me all that stuff about like how certain characters like turn out really great and certain ones don't, like, it occurred to me that, you know, the only way you know that is by playing the game over and over again, which he's done. You know, he's played through it a bunch of times, and I was just like...
It's just observations you make where you start to see, like, okay, why do I have 2 horsemen? And then you see this horseman levels up, like, his skill stat a lot, whereas this one levels up his strength stat, and so you start to kind of, like, pick which troops you want to use, especially in the newer games where you get a shitload of troops, and you're like, why do I care? Why do I need so many?
Yeah, see, it's funny, because I remember growing up how you would always complain about stuff like getting 2 horsemen.
Yeah.
And I feel like...
It always pissed me off because I didn't want 2 horsemen.
Back then, but now you do.
I had no idea why they gave me so many fucking horsemen, and now I totally get it. And so I'll switch them out when I play multiple times.
Isn't axe against
Javelin? God
Javelin?
damn it. Yeah, but Javelin's further away, so it can't get hit.
But that guy had a throwing axe that you could have used.
What?
The axe guy you have, he had a hatchet.
Yeah, but he's not going to kill him in one hit. So if I hit a little bit of damage with the javelin, then I could have finished him off with this guy, and then I would have leveled up this guy.
So you're just trying to level Ross.
Yeah.
And that's why you're going to way around your ass or ankle to get to your asshole.
So I sit here and I look at which units are going to do like enough damage to not kill this guy, and so I can finish him off with Ross and level up Ross. And Ross has
Ross killed.
Yeah, because if I miss with Ross, then he's going to die. Like, because that guy will hit me twice on the rebound. Very. When you're trying to level up the weak characters, it adds a whole new element of challenge to the game, and that's what I really enjoy. So Ross can kill this guy with his iron axe in one hit, if he hits. And he has a 70% chance of hitting, and he hits! So we're good. Yay, and he leveled up. Let's see what stats he gets.
Riveting.
See, he gets a strength stat, a luck stat, and a speed stat. And yeah, he's a lower class, so if I level up him, he'll become like this guy, and then he can level up into another guy, and he'll just get so fucking strong! And I can grind until he does that.
Right, this game...
Incredible.
This was the first one that had class changing. That wasn't in 7, I don't think.
Well, they do upgrade classes, but they don't have different options. Like, there's only one option for an upgrade in that game, whereas this game, you either get one guy or a different guy. Oh, she killed him. I fucked up. I wanted to kill him with the sword guy, or the horse guy. Because your main character in this game is always a lord, and that's what this girl is, and like they usually have like higher stat progressions and base stats, so it's not as important to level her up, because she will always level up really fast. Right. Whereas I want to level up the other guys more importantly.
It's just it's fascinating, like I was saying with Hippo, because like
Oh shit!
I
didn't check that range. No.
I am not the type who like will play a game again and study it. You know, like the games I play are usually really simple, and I play one way, and I never like that was what because okay. Here's the thing, Vic, and I didn't want to bring this up, but I feel like I have to now because it keeps the subject keeps coming back to it with Bloodborne. Because at the end of our Bloodborne playthrough, I was talking about how I think Dark Souls is probably still the better game.
Yeah.
And that I like it more for like this and that reason. I started playing Dark Souls, and I don't think I can say that about my own feelings.
Yeah.
Because as much as Dark Souls is so much more robust, there's only one way I'm ever going to play it. Like, I am never going to be the guy who plays heavy or who plays magic. Like, it's just not the kind of game I like to play. I like to play games where I just run in and fucking beat the shit out of stuff. And I like to play light, and I like to have a full roll and, you know, and have a ton of endurance and stuff. So, like, you know, I started playing it, and I started off with the axe, and I just wanted, like, I was like, let's just duplicate what I did in Bloodborne, right? Like, have a big, strong axe that does a fuckload of damage, be light enough to roll around and you know, hit from wherever, and that'll be my tactic. And so I'm playing that way, and it's like, if I were to consider this the only way I would play Dark Souls, and this is also the way I play Bloodborne, and Bloodborne's more fun to play, then I like Bloodborne more.
Yeah.
You know, where like it's like the stuff that makes Dark Souls a cooler game is not stuff that I personally would interact with. You know? And like as much as I might respect Dark Souls more, there's plenty of games that I respect a lot that I don't play. You know, there's plenty of deep Everything that anyone has ever told me about Dwarf Fortress completely blows my mind and sounds incredible. You would never catch me dead playing Dwarf Fortress. I could not be less interested in playing any game than I am in playing fucking... Do you know anything about that game?
I don't really know anything.
It's like this unfathomably deep, like I believe it's all text-based game, but like... It's like you're basically raising...
Oh, shit, he destroyed that village. I don't know what was in there. Could have been a person. I didn't recognize that was a red village.
Yeah,
Shit.
You got your Pegasus girl over there.
I should Google what's in that village. Because now I'm like, what if that was like a mage? Could have been an important dude.
Well,
I don't know. Well, I can save this guy. There's no real way I can find out unless I restart the level.
Well, I mean, you can look it up on your phone and find out, and then decide if you want to restart the level.
I'm not gonna like pause the game and look up my phone.
You can do it between or after you like, I don't know.
If I'm about to like win this soon.
Up to you. You can decide how badly you care about redoing this 20-minute.
I mean, if there's a character.
Yeah, man. Only one way to find out, and that's by looking it up. I don't think you'll get 3 characters in one level.
Well, it's really early, so they might.
You already have a ton of people. All things considered. But, you know, you can look it up and find out if you want.
Next episode, I want to talk about the animations of the characters in this game.
Well, we're still in this episode.
Well, I want to, like, use the characters as examples, and I probably won't get to use the knight again. But, anyway, I really love the animation where the knight pulls the shield off of the front of his body. Like, that is the coolest fucking thing. Such a great animation.
All the animations are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Even this. It's like, boing, boing.
It's like, whoa, the shield is part of his armor. Like, seems pretty convenient.
Yeah, it is cool.
Very clean. Yeah, talk to this guy.
What the fuck was I talking? Right.
Ah, shit, he can't talk to him.
Dwarf Fortress.
Does Ross have to talk to him?
I believe it's like you're like raising a like a Sims style raising a dwarf fortress, and like there's just so much stuff that can happen. It's like ludicrously insanely deep, and like
ludicrous.
I'm sure that if you're into that kind of game, then you could have infinite amount of fun with it. But, like, the idea of playing a text-based or procedurally generated game is just a nightmare to me.
Uh-huh.
I know our friend Ben is very into procedurally generated games.
I see. I am not. That is not what I'm into at all.
Well, Ben considers the most valuable thing in like media to be if it can like surprise you.
I see.
If like there's something you don't expect and it does something new that you've never seen before. I don't care about that kind of thing very much. Like I prefer games that take what's happened before and then perfects it, you know, like makes it super polished and fun.
Yeah.
So like, you know, that's why he values games like Undertale so much, where like what he loves about it is all the surprises and all the things it does that other games don't do. Whereas I value a game, like I love fighting games, because fighting games are all basically the same concept, but like with a, that's
all right. Now I got apparently Garcia. Yes, it's Ross's dad.
Yes. I just love how he was like, Dad!
Garcia.
Yes.
Oh man, I was thinking about
Garcia.
The Devu was talking about in his Donkey Kong video about how all the enemies look super douchey and like that makes you want to kill them and it's fun, and this is one of those guys where it's like, look at this douchey asshole.
Yeah, his
like
name
he's
is
just
Bone.
some douchebag.
His name is Bone.
And I'm gonna kick his ass. His name is Bone.
I mean, that is a long-time fiction trope, right? The bad guys are always ugly.
Yeah,
the good guys
some
are always
ugly
beautiful.
asshole.
Right. Unless it's like the attractive bad guy, but then they're always like kind of a punchable douche, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. Go watch Devu's video. Parts of it are really interesting, and parts of it you'll start to like zone out and not really be sure what he's talking about anymore.
Yeah.
On his Donkey Kong
video. A little bit. I have a 50% chance of killing this guy with that javelin.
I don't remember if this... correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I remember, it won't kill him.
It will. It hits twice.
Yeah, for 8 damage, and he has 9... Oh, never mind.
He has 5 health.
It wrong. 9 was what he was going to do. Yeah.
Very clean. Pegasus Knights are another one that are really hard to level up at first, but then they're like super cool.
Yeah, that's like... They're like the hardest to
they're
level,
like glass
but with
cannons.
the highest heights that they can reach at the end. That was what Gibbon was telling me about the one from
Because they'll
7.
get fucked by like archers.
Yeah, they're weak to archers specifically.
And some magics.
What was I saying?
The Devu.
No, Devu. Wasn't that one of the videos
Gotta follow the thief.
where like he says some things like they must obviously be better about one game, but then you're not entirely sure why that is automatically better.
Oh man.
Devu has said that about people like he has said that he cannot respect anyone who doesn't understand that analysis is better than reviews. Because he's like, if you he tried to there was this one guy who was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm trying to cycle. There we go.
There was this guy who Devu was talking to who was like a sort of minor YouTuber guy who was like a reviewer of games. And he just did like bog standard reviews. And like, for whatever reason, I guess like he ended up asking Devu for a critique, or Devu just imparted it upon him because that's the kind of person he is. I don't know the context, but like, he was telling the guy like about like he was like, you should make more analytical videos, and like you know, instead of just reviews like everyone else would make, why not like, you know, dive deep into the games. He like explained this to the guy, and the guy was just kind of like, yeah, I mean that stuff's cool, but I don't know, I just don't know, like I don't, you know, like basically was like not impressed with the idea of analysis. And he was just like, how is it possible for someone to like look at analysis and not immediately think this is way more interesting than a review, you know?
Yeah.
And I agree with him on that point, but that's a very like Devu mentality of like if you like there's a certain amount that should just be obvious to you, or else you're just below the level of this writing, you know. And I think I remember feeling that way with some of his videos where he would explain something and then just kind of be like, and that's better. And I'm like, wait, but why is that necessarily better?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. That's just how I remember feeling. So, Devu, if you're listening, I'm just basing that on my vague memory. And I felt that way about other people too. So it's not a uniquely Devu thing. But like, I've had that experience a few times where I'm watching someone like talk about something, and then I'm like, is that good? Is that bad? Like you're just describing it, you know?
Yeah.
or not really providing a good enough. I think I feel that way a lot with stuff like when people talk about pacing and stuff like that. And I've said before that, like, when people say that something has bad pacing, that's like the hardest criticism for me to take seriously. Not because I think it's invalid, but I think that it's too easy for people to say, like, well, it's rushed and therefore not good. And then you have to ask, like, well, what about it being rushed is bad? Like, what gave you that sensation of rushed? Like, is it always a bad thing for something to be paced quickly, you know?
Is there a purpose to it being paced quickly?
Right,
like...
or weirdly, you know? And I think that I think there's a lot of stuff that people say that they think is just obvious when it's not necessarily obvious, and it can run into problems. There's some anime that are paced in a very unconventional ways that I can understand why people don't like it, but I think that it adds to it. Like, for instance, the anime series Angel Beats, which, in fairness, I don't think that it was, like, paced the way it was, like, intelligently. Like, the writer, Jun Maeda, generally writes some pretty bad shit. Like, he's not the most competent writer on Earth, and he's written some other stuff that's terrible, like, in terms of pacing and in terms of stuff like the problems that people have with Angel Beats. But, like, I think in that particular case, the weird pacing works for the show because it creates this really weird atmosphere and tone that you can't get anywhere else. And, like, I think it's so alien that people immediately say, oh, it's terrible because they haven't seen anything else like it. But it's actually really cool. Like, the way it's done is actually interesting. And I know that, you know, that's a matter of taste. Not everyone's going to feel that way. But when I see people write it off, I feel like they're being too quick to do so. Like, people are just saying, oh, the pacing is bad, and not, like, saying why the pacing is bad.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, oh, it's fast and the tone constantly changes. And I'm like, is it a bad thing for the tone to constantly change, or can that be interesting, you know? Because, you know, in real life, the tone can constantly change. You know?
This show changes tone a lot.
Like, well, it's funny because, like, people will complain about how they'll be like, oh, it's like a comedy one minute and a drama the next. And it's like, sometimes you can literally in your life be sitting in a room with your friends, joking and having a good time, and then find out your parents died. Yeah. Like, that is a thing that can happen in real life. And I think it's cool when art can reflect that. And sometimes it can do it well or not, and you can debate that, but, like, it's a thing that really happens. Tone changes, you know, and I don't know. I think it can be clever and fun. And I think Angel Beats is a case where, like, there are bad parts in that show. There are parts that don't work that well. But, like, I think the overall pacing of it is fun and interesting.
Oh, fuck. He did more damage. I didn't realize that guy had a hand axe.
I don't even remember seeing that guy.
I don't know shit about Angel Beats.
It's a show from 2009.
You explained some things just now. Who do I talk to this guy with? Now I have to find who needs to talk to the thief. There we go.
Well, you need to.
Yay!
Anyway.
This guy's cool. Colm, one of my favorite thief characters.
The thieves in these games are always like you know.
They're always one of my favorites, even though, like,
cool assholes.
Lately, I don't use them as much because they're kind of a pain in the ass to, like, make good. But then I think they're pretty good in this game.
They have, like, really high crit stats, right?
Yeah, they have super high evasion and critical stats, and so, like, when they're at max level, they can be impossible to hit, which will be very nice.
Another example of a show like that, I have a collection of the shows that I think are weirdly paced, but are good and don't get enough credit. Angel Beats gets plenty of credit because it's a popular show anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's underrated by a lot of critics who think it's fun to just shit on it because it's popular and because it's an obvious target. But I think it's a lot better than those people give it credit for. I think that a show that's just underrated because no one's fucking seen it is Futakoi Alternative. Do you remember that show?
No.
Man, it was from 2000. Like, we watched it in 2007, and it's like a town where all women are twins. Like, all girls have a twin, and There's like it was like constantly bouncing between like really heavy-handed melodrama and balls out comedy spastic craziness. And it was like super weird. It was one of the first UFO table shows, and back when they made interesting, colorful, fun shows and not fucking Fate Stay Night and God Eater.
Yeah. I didn't know they were doing God Eater. That explains what they've been doing.
What they've been up to.
I'm always just like, what are they ever doing?
Yeah, well, they did. I mean, they only ever did like one thing a year.
Wow.
Anyway, but
oh shit! Because he killed that guy. Now he might be open to an archer attacking.
They're probably working on the Heaven's Feel movie for Fate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really miss the old UFO table.
Hey.
Not to say that I don't like completely because I love Kara no Kyokai and I like Fate Zero a lot, you know. Not that into Fate Stay Night, but I just hate that they've become this factory of nothing but type moon shows when it used to be everything they did was really colorful and wacky and interesting, but those shows also were never successful, so I completely understand why they're doing this, you know, like they're probably meeting unbelievably more success than they were before, but like if you've never seen old UFO Table, man, you gotta watch fucking Futakoi Alternative, which is super fun. Coyote Ragtime Show, I never finished it, but what little we watched of it was a lot of fun. Manabi Straight, one of my favorite shows ever. Ninja Nonsense, or 2x2 equals Shinobuden. Never finished that one.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
They did a lot of like gag stuff at first.
It was all and Dokoida. That was the other one.
Oh yeah.
They did Dokoida.
I knew they did that.
Yeah, all their early stuff was colorful, fun comedy shit.
That's weird.
Kara no Kyokai was the first thing they did that wasn't like that. Those are the only 5 shows they had done. The ones I just named. All of them were colorful, fun, wacky, weird shows that were like out there and no one watched them. I mean, some people watched Ninja Nonsense. Yeah, I think that's probably the only one that any mainstream attention was given to. But like, then they did Kara no Kyokai, which was great, but then it was like everything after that. And in fairness, they've done other weird stuff on the side. They did the movie, what was it? Magico Witch Hana Nene, something like that. Nana Nene. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like a big, colorful, wacky, fun time movie. But it was just, the script was just not that good. Like, it's the kind of movie where it's got the Japanese film problem of being way too long. And like the first like 30 minutes are great, and then after that it's just like I don't care anymore. It just gets really boring and not that interesting, and it's way longer than it needs to be. They did the fucking weird ass Yuri Planet, what's her name thing, which is like a couple of short like
a planet of gay,
bizarre, super well animated, super trashy, raunchy comedy things.
Hell yeah,
that are very strange.
Very strange.
I did not find funny, but like, they are beautiful looking. So yeah, they have done other stuff, but it's very much been like, okay, we're, you know, after doing all this Fate stuff, they then did God Eater, which is like Edge La Edge type, you know.
Edge La Edge.
That's a nickname for Kill La Kill from 4chan. Edge La Edge.
Very edgy.
People are always trying to say that Kill La Kill is like just an adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2 and Ryuko is Shadow.
Yes, clearly.
Oh god. Alright, next time on Digi Bros,
Woo!
We'll finish up this
Probably beat
level.
this place, yeah.